Welcome back to Power Trip Gaming Retro.
Yes.
Retrospective.
Oh, wow, you almost flubbed on that. Welcome back to Retro Gaming Retrospective.
Yes. We are doing
one of my personal favorites that nobody shares that sentiment.
No, nobody agrees with you on this.
But today we are reviewing
Legacy of the Wizard. Wow!
Such a great game.
Wow!
In my opinion, so horribly underrated and really never talked about.
Bro to fucking bun!
But you have your reasons of why that is, and you don't think that it's necessarily underrated.
I don't think it's underrated, but I don't think it's... Okay, so let's explain what this game is.
So first off, we'll go into it. So this game was produced 1989. It came out in the United States.
Yes, sir.
It was licensed by Broderbund, or it was published by Broderbund, and it was developed by Falcom, I believe. I think it was Falcom, actually.
It might have been.
But this game was actually part of a larger story and a larger series in Japan that really never came to the United States, called Dragon Slayer.
The Dragon Slayer series.
Yes, the Dragon Slayer series, and this one was actually Dragon Slayer 4. We apparently got another game of the Dragon Slayer series. Fexanadu is actually part of that series as well, too.
Xanadu.
Fazanadu.
Fazanadu.
I guess the X doesn't. It's not Fexanadu.
Well, it's
Fazanadu.
Fazanadu. Like the movie Xanadu. Xanadu, but like a fa in front of it.
Oh, gotcha.
Fazanadu.
Fazanadu.
You don't have to say it like that every time.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways.
Catchy though.
Anyways, so you've got Legacy of the Wizard, and then you got Fazanadu.
You know what's funny is my parents absolutely love that movie.
Do they really? That's awesome. But yeah, so the game came out in 1989, and it really, I don't know, there wasn't really many games quite like it.
No. It is dungeon exploration
it really is a dungeon
finest? Question mark?
Yeah.
I would say finest in quotations. It's extremely big.
It is an action...
Action side-scroller RPG.
It doesn't really even have RPG elements to it, though, because you're not leveling up, you're not... so it's like an action platform / puzzle...
dungeon exploration.
Yeah, so the game really is, like, it's dungeon exploration, it's dungeon crawling, it's really kind of like a Metroidvania-ish, where you're exploring, really trying to find items that then unlock other locations. And you're supposed to try to find the 4 crowns, which then will allow you to get the Dragon Slayer sword, and then you defeat and slay the final dragon, Kila, and that's the game.
Kila.
That was his best impersonation of Kila the dragon spewing fire.
That's right. Actually, I would say, yeah, now that you said that, this game is very equatable to Metroid.
It really is.
It is.
Honestly.
That's what this game feels like, and I can't believe I didn't think of that until you just said it. But it's very Metroid as fuck. I mean, it's the side-scrolling left to right. You get the items to unlock other paths.
You got the hidden doors and stuff like that, the walls that crumble that then open up other areas and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's got a lot more puzzle elements than Metroid ever has in any of their games. Yeah.
This is very puzzle heavy.
Very. And in fact, I think that probably is one of your biggest gripes, is that it's a little bit too puzzle heavy.
It's not that it's too puzzle heavy. I love puzzle heavy games. Like Alundra for the PS1, you talk about tough ass puzzles. That game is like I've never actually beaten Alundra. I've gotten to the ending sequence, but it's been so long since I've played it. It's one of those where I have to restart it.
Well, just start it. Yeah.
I don't want to restart it because those puzzles are so difficult to overcome. So it's like I've kind of put off. I'm like, fuck it.
But this game takes like really tough puzzle elements, but then actually takes a game like Castlevania 2 with the crypticness of it and makes it 10 times more cryptic.
With no text.
With no text. No context, no story whatsoever.
No.
The only story that you have is what's in the instruction booklet. There is no explanatory or
no context, no dialogue.
Nothing throughout the entire game. You're told the basic story in the instruction booklet and on the back of the game, and then you're just thrown right into it.
Yes. The instruction booklet, by the way, as common with the NES era, calls them the Drossel family.
They do.
And they're called the Warzin family in-game.
Well, it's funny because the end credits scene, they're known as the Warzin family. And then in the instruction booklet, and I believe on the back of the box, too, it even says the Drazel family.
Yeah, it's another one of those Baron von Blubba, Grumple Grommet situations.
Yeah,
I don't think they were quite sure, there must have been a translation error somewhere in there.
There may have been, yeah.
And that's all I can think of. Kind of like how box art for a lot of the games, the people who did the box art never necessarily saw the actual game.
Yeah.
Which is how bad, I'm pretty sure that's how bad box art Mega Man came around, was the fact that they never actually saw the game, but they're like, hey, it's Mega Man.
Well, the box art of Mega Man 1 and 2 actually has some kind of blue guy actually holding a gun instead of having it being like a cannon arm. So.
And in Mega Man 2, I'm pretty sure he's shooting the game with his left hand, which is a right hand, or something there's some goofy hand problem. But it's a story for a different day, which I'm pretty sure we've already covered.
Yes.
So we'll get it. Well, again, we never. So you're collecting 4 crowns throughout this labyrinthine puzzle world underground underneath this person's house, or this family's house, to get the Dragon Slayer, to kill Kilo the Dragon, who's coming alive from a painting or some shit.
It's actually.
Oh my god!
I think it's like the dragon is frozen in time, but they actually call it he's frozen, the wizard originally froze him in a painting, and the story is that Poochie, the pet of the family, goes into the dungeon like he normally does every day.
Yeah, why not?
And he comes back to the family and he drops a dragon scale, which means that the dragon is starting to come back to life. And so,
coming back to life.
So therefore, the whole family has to go on an adventure to try to find the Dragon Slayer and then kill the dragon so that he doesn't cause harm to the land.
Grandpa done fucked up.
Yeah.
Because Grandpa of the family, he's the wizard.
He is the wizard.
In case it's not, it's never told
to
you.
It's never. It may have been in the instruction booklet, but the grandfather is the original wizard, so it's his legacy of the wizard, and the family has to kind of ensure that legacy.
Yes.
Continues.
There's 5 different characters you can be: the dad Zem, the daughter Lil, the mom Mina, and the son Rojas. Yeah. Rojas. And then the dog Poochie. Each one is unique in its own right based on strength, speed, jump ability. Poochie himself can't be touched by monsters.
Which is cool.
That's awesome.
And
I love Poochie.
There's items throughout the game that you can pick up, and only certain characters can use certain items and stuff. That was really cool too. But this being a really long game, you basically only had the one life. If you died, you got a game over. It was password save, except
Brother
Bund had an issue with programming their passwords.
Yeah, they did.
So, and their passwords were not short.
No.
They were 32 characters long with a lot of different characters that you could use in those passwords. And the game, I would say at least 50% of the time was giving you a bogus password that did not work.
Which, that said, we'll get into the difficulty.
Yes, we can get into the difficulty.
So what did you give Legacy of the Wizard for a difficulty?
So I had to take off my nostalgia glasses.
Yes.
I had to put into perspective, if I was just coming into this game for the first time, and I wanted to beat this without looking it up, or having to go to Nintendo Power to try to find out where I'm supposed to go, I would give this game probably a 7. I'm almost borderline 8 on it.
Are you reading my notes?
No, I'm not.
I put 7 or 8 myself.
But I think because of the fact that you can save your progress with the passwords, you can always come back to it, that's why I would lean closer to the 7. But when I think about the crap that you have to go through, with some of the boss characters, like Rakea, and I believe the dragon's name is Winger.
The bosses are no fucking joke.
But the boss of the 3rd crown and the boss of the 4th crown, they are no fucking joke whatsoever. No. You will... And even some of the
enemies.
Some of the enemies that you encounter and the stretches that you will go without finding an inn, so that you can heal up your life. that's where I would lean towards more of like an 8 because, while it's cryptic already, you've got a lot of shit that you have to deal with and a lot of difficulties that you're going to get to along the way, let alone the bosses that you have to deal with. So I would almost now be willing to say it's an 8. I'm going to lean on that 8 just because of everything kind of put into it.
I was on the fence as well. I wasn't sure whether to do 7 or 8, but now that I'm hearing you, I keep moving my phone to try to keep my notes in. This game is... I'm going 8. I'm going a solid 8. I was on the fence, one way or the other. That tastes
Kayla!
Tastes like jalapeno poppers. So heat! Yeah, fire! But this game is cryptic to the nth fucking degree. As a child, I didn't get crown 1. I didn't even realize there were crowns. I knew there were crowns in the item menu, didn't know what they were. So, I mean, honestly, this game with no sense of direction given to you, this game is a shit show. We would not have beaten this our first attempt. This would have been like Castle Quest all over again.
Again, as a child, so we... in my family, we got this game. My brother actually got this game for, I believe it was our 5th or 6th birthday. And, I mean, I remember just hours and hours playing this game.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, I would find some of the items, but yeah, it wasn't until I was much, much older, at least 10 years, 12 years past that, that I even realized that there was crowns, and that the goal of the game was to collect 4 crowns, get the sword, and then slay the dragon. I knew that there was a dragon, and I always thought, oh, it's just the centerpiece of the game. I didn't...
Yeah.
It's just part of the scenery. I didn't think that it was an enemy in the game. And so, yeah, I would never have known. I mean, we spent hours and hours just exploring this cave and dying, writing down passwords, and we never really made any headway in this game whatsoever.
No, I honestly, growing up, never knew that there were 4 specific paths for the characters.
Yeah.
I always thought, like, each one had its own... Like, Poochie I would use to explore any of the areas to just not get touched so you could explore. That's what I thought his purpose was. Yeah. I never in a million years would have guessed that there was that one treasure chest, like Mimic, that was an instant kill to every other fucking character except him. If you could even make it to that guy with any of the other characters.
Yeah.
So it's like, this game is... I can see why you love it, and I do like it. I mean, the game is good. But I can definitely see where a lot of people's gripes come from with why this game fucking blows to them.
The difficulty is just it's a lot to overcome, and I think that the average person is just not going to overcome that kind of difficulty.
I mean, there are hidden paths that require you to just jump constantly.
Yeah.
How would you know? Because I mean, like Metroid as well. Like, you just run into walls and hope for the best. And that's how this was. Like I said, I never, in all my childhood, and even as an adult, until you showed me, I never got a crown. And I honestly don't even think, well, I probably could pull it off today, but yeah, this game's rough. Especially throwing the fact, too, that you can trap yourself in a lot of areas. Like with Zen, there's an area where you can literally just trap yourself. And then you're done.
And then that's it.
And then, even if you do happen to make progress, another reason this gets an 8 is because, like we said, you could get a bogus password. Then why your progress is for moot? So really, like, you almost kind of have to beat it in one or two goes, and if you do get a password, hope for the best.
Yeah.
So definitely a solid 8.
But with the advent of cell phones now, they can take pictures instead of having to actually write it out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That makes it a little bit easier, just because it's not the ultimate slap in the face that you took all this time to write out the passwords and making sure that you had the right symbols, if they had symbols, or lowercase or uppercase.
An I or an L.
An I or an L, yeah. And or an O and a 0.
That was a common one.
Yeah, and so now it's a lot easier.
But I mean, even if you took a picture and it was right, it still could be wrong.
No, it still could be wrong. Yeah.
Thank God for save states, right?
Exactly.
This is one game where I'd say emulation actually is not a bad idea.
It's just to, at least if you want to try to enjoy the game, emulation might be the way to go because of save states. But yeah, the game itself, I mean, honestly, even with the first Metroid, I think it would have been so much better had they had some kind of like almost like an on-screen map of some kind, almost like the Super Metroid style, but at the same time, this came out so early that there was no way that they were going to have anything. They probably couldn't even do that kind of stuff, having the smaller map in the corner, or if you push start to try to see an overarching map, like, that just wasn't common in games back then.
The only way I could have seen that happening is if, like, you had visited an inn, and then after you rested and it refilled all your life, instead of going directly to an item screen, it would go to a map screen first.
Yeah.
It showed you the screens in an area, and then, and then it goes to the item screen after you exit that. That would have been my thought.
Yeah.
That actually would have made this game a little...
It would have made it a lot more bearable, and I would say, honestly, it would probably have given the difficulty of the game, it would have went down a couple points at that point.
Yeah, because then you had a goal, and you knew where to go.
Yeah, you would have known where to go at that point. You still would have had to figure out that different areas were specifically for different characters.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you at least had an inkling of where it was that you were supposed to go in those areas.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, man. Solid 8. So, we'll move on to fun. Paul.
I want you to give your fun on this first, just because I already know what my fun is. I know it's going to be higher than yours, because this is actually one of the games that is in my top 10 video games of all time, because I love this game.
Yeah, I know you do, buddy.
I truly do.
So, for fun, I gave this game, realistically, like, obviously I do have nostalgia for this game, and I love the graphics. I love the music. But if you really look at this game and boil down what it is, I give it a 6. Super extremely ambitious of a game. I definitely give it its points. It's almost like a Metroid on steroids. I mean, it's exploration beyond,
Yeah.
So, I mean, the reason it only gets a 6 is because, like, the enemy variety, it's really not there. The enemies don't really do anything other than run around. And even the exploration, like, it kind of gets old. Like I said, there's no real sense of direction given anywhere. And you could wander hours and never make progress. And that, to me, would be extremely frustrating. So that's... Yeah. I mean, if you really look at the game without the nostalgia glasses, as if we had come into it for the first time, even as a kid, like, I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed running around killing stuff. I didn't really care so much about the crowns, but really looking at it as a whole piece, as a game, I'd say it's probably about a 6.
So for me,
there we go.
With my nostalgia glasses on, I would give this game at least a 9.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
I'm being serious. Taking the glasses off, though, I am going to give this game a 7. It is a 7 for fun. The game, I'm going to echo your sentiments, it was extremely ambitious. And I applaud them for how ambitious this game actually was. It took a genre, of games, Metroid, which wasn't even known as, like, Metroidvania at that time.
Right.
But it really tried to kind of emulate that. But, like you said, it really kind of just kicked it, like, it really was, like, Metroid on steroids.
Yeah.
It took the map that Metroid was and just made it so much bigger.
Woo,
like,
buddy.
When you really boil it down, it was like, it's like a grid of, like, 16 by 16. But when you really think about it, it's like one screen of Legacy of the Wizard is like 4 screens of Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
So, like, it dwarfs that map to an unbelievable degree.
What is it? What is a 16 by 16?
What do you mean it's 16 by 16?
How many rooms is that?
Oh, shoot.
I honestly can't think of it off the top of my head. I mean, 12 by 12 is a 144, but I can't think of what a 16 by 16 is.
Oh, I can't either, actually.
A lot.
Yeah. But,
it's not it's not 256?
I don't know if it's 256, but...
Duh, I got a fucking smartphone with a calculator.
There you
I'm
go.
an idiot.
But the...
Dummy dog.
But the game, I
was right. 256.
Oh, 256. Oh, nice.
Damn, dude. I'm a fucking genius.
So, but the game itself, I mean, the graphics were absolutely amazing. For the time,
they were very beautiful.
It was 1989, and each area just looked absolutely amazing to me. Like the style of each area had its own unique style to it.
It had its own feel, which was really cool.
It had its own feel to it, so it almost felt like you had multiple games. Like you had 4 different games inside of this one monstrous game.
Mm-hmm.
Each one even had its own theme songs and game music, which honestly, the music of Legacy of the Wizard is still to this day one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time. I think it was so... What?
No. Continue your thought. I'll wait till you're done.
No. You've already distracted me. What?
So... And I hate that you do this to me. I hate that you get inside my head. But, thinking about it, I actually might bump this to a 7.
Pray tell, how did I convince you?
So you were mentioning the separate areas having separate feels. Well, it really is... Every area is extremely unique. Considering the characters can equip different items, especially with manipulating the blocks. Yeah. You have the dad with the power glove that can shift the block, like one peg or one square
block,
or two.
One square, yeah, at a time.
You have the wand, or the rod, I think it was,
Mina's
for Mina, which will just, fucking
just
fling
project it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the Madoc for Lil, who can just destroy blocks. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in that sense, it really was unique. And I like that every character even had that feel to it. Because I remember as a kid choosing Roas and thinking he was just average Joe. You really can't do anything with him.
He's like the weakest character in the game, actually.
Yeah, he fucking blows.
Yeah.
But I loved going to like the different areas with the mom and like getting the wings so you can just fucking fly. And even just taking Lil and making these giant fucking leaps in the air because she had a really high jump stat. And that really was fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that feeling of the 5 distinct characters. Oh, 4, really. I mean, Roas was just...
He really was kind of... Yeah,
he was a throwaway. Like, he was literally useless.
Yeah. He wasn't useless.
No,
he was the only one who could use the Dragon Slayer and the only one who could actually beat the last guy in the game. So.
Yeah. Could you actually fight Keela with any of the other characters?
Nope.
So you really could only fight him with him?
Because the only way that he would come to life is if you had the Dragon Slayer sword equipped. So, like, if it was, like with Zem having the glove equipped, it's like you needed to have the Dragon Slayer equipped, and Roas was the only one who could carry it.
Wait a minute. Roas was the only one who could use the paintings, too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, he had his own feel to him.
He was the one who could use the crowns because it was through those paintings you had to find the correct painting because that's what would, that's where you would find the Dragon Slayer sword because it was actually in an area that had that was completely blocked off in all 4 directions. So the only way to get it was to find the painting that was inside there in order to get the Dragon Slayer.
What a shit show that is! So throughout the entire game, there are these little pictures of like I want to say it's like a woman's.
It's Princess.
Profile.
I can't recall what her name is, but it's like a princess.
Yeah, and they're essentially warps. Granted. You don't know where the hell they take you. Yeah. And there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
So, I mean, see, and then I think of stuff like that, and I'm like, that is just utterly balls-tastic confusing. Like, I remember watching it, trying to figure out what paintings you were going in to get to the Dragon Slayer. Mm-hmm. Motherfucker. Even if I had gotten the crowns, I never would have found the Dragon Slayer. Because it was a pain in the ass just to get it.
You do realize... I only went through one, specific painting.
I never would have found it. Because I'm an idiot.
It literally is a bunch of blocks that literally, some of them are colored red, and it's like, there's an X. It's in an X shape.
Is it really?
X marks the spot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Colorblind, I don't know. I don't actually remember. But,
But anyways,
Yeah.
before you went on your tirade here, so I was talking about how great the music is. And then the next thing I was actually going to talk about how fun this game is that, yes, with the different characters, it's not just like a Metroid where you just have one character. You have 4 different distinct characters with each of their own attributes, each of their own skill sets where Zem is slow, but he's strong, and he can use these certain items. Mina is sort of like in the middle, where she's stronger than the kids, but she's not as strong as Zem is. You've got Lil, who is really fast. She can jump super high, but she's got a pretty low attack. And then you've got Roas, who has a decent jump, a substandard attack, but it's like he really can. He's really just kind of like the middle ground. So I mean, you have all of these different characters who kind of have their own distinct feel to them, and you really start to kind of, I don't know, get like you really feel kind of invested in it because you really kind of associate yourself with one of those characters. I don't know, I always consider myself a little bit of the Zem.
Sure.
No, I was always Roas.
Of course,
I was always Roas as a kid. So, but
I would have pegged you more as a Poochie myself.
Maybe. So, but the game itself, I mean, and this is one thing that I always find difficult, or I always try to compare it to how fun it is that this game, I think, as a result of it, has a lot of replayability in the sense that there is a lot of substance to this game that you could then explore and try to find different areas. It's not about just trying to find the 4 crowns and the Dragon Slayer and then beating the game. It's like now, because if you take a very specific path in order to just try to find what it is that you're looking for, you may miss some other things. So then you can try around. You could try to go into the Princess Selena. That was her name, Selena.
Cool.
Yeah, it means nothing, but I thought about it.
Yeah.
But you could jump into the paintings to try to find out where the other teleportation areas are. Try to find different screens of the map that you may not have found on the first go around. God forbid, try to get the crowns in a different order, which is almost impossible, because if you actually do try to get them in a different order, there is an order where you can get them in where you will actually screw yourself. So
really?
If Lil is like you've gotten the other 3 crowns, and Lil, you try to get her with the 4th crown, it's going to be Lil against Rockea, and she does not have the strength to actually beat Rockea.
Really?
Yeah, so you will...
Well, that's right, the bosses get progressively harder based on the order.
They do.
Wow.
Well, no, the boss, they get progressively difficult, but it's like they're static, where it's always going to be Tyrantinus. The big spider is always the first crown.
That's what you I thought it was based on which crown you got.
Erebone is the second one. He's always going to be the boss of the 2nd crown. Winger is always going to be the boss of the 3rd round, and Rockea is always going to be the boss of the 4th crown. So you can get them in any different order with Zem, Mina, Lil, whatever order you want, but those are always going to be the order of the bosses that you're going to fight.
And certain characters fare better against certain bosses.
Because Mina and Zem are the strongest of the 2, obviously,
right.
You need them to be strong so that they can actually deal damage to these bosses. And Poochie is strong himself, so you may stand a chance, but at the same time, I don't think Poochie can use the armor, and I don't think he can use the shield. So basically, you go up against Rockea or Winger, who both have projectiles that deal a shit ton of damage. You can't even get close enough to actually deal the damage to kill them.
And you die, and you lose a lot of health very quickly.
Very fast.
Isn't it like 30 or 40 a peg?
I think it's 40 a peg.
Hit?
Yeah, because it's like, I think it's 30 for projectiles, 40 for being touched.
Oh my god, you only have 100.
Yeah, like 99 or 100, yeah, technically. So
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I honestly, the game is super tough, but there are so many good aspects of this game. It was so ambitious that I really commend it for that. It's got replayability up the fucking yin yang.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that instead of up the ass.
Yeah, I wasn't about to say that, but the music is just absolutely great. The characters, I love that there's different characters. There's so much to explore in this area, and this is one of those games where you could literally just make your own map and just come back to it whenever.
I would say so.
And so that's why I can't give it less than a 7. I really think that this is really one of the unsung heroes on the Nintendo. Yes, as you've said before, and I think why a lot of other people don't agree with that is because of how difficult and how cryptic the game is. But honestly, it is so well done to me, and I think that it is a very rewarding game. When you accomplish, when you beat this game for the first time, you feel accomplished, and there are very few games that make you feel that way on the Nintendo.
I'm inclined to agree with you. So on that note, we will move on to price point. Paul, what did you pay? Even though I already know the answer.
I didn't pay anything for this game because this is the one that we grew up with. So
Neither did I.
I did not pay for it.
So, as of this video, PriceCharting.com lists this game as $5.75.
It's went up.
Has it? Well, since my notes, it might have.
$6.
Oh my God!
Yes, $6. 6 big ones is what you will pay for this game.
So, actually, it's funny. In my notes, I wrote, yes, this is worth it because there is an immense satisfaction to be had for executing this game. So, yes, for $6 fucking dollars, I would say this is worth it.
It is worth every penny. To me, this is one of those games that really kind of goes. I mean, even with games like Guardian Legend,
absolutely,
where it's
baby.
it's one of those games where it is still super cheap. You could find this game literally anywhere. I think that this is not. It is not an uncommon game. It's It's a pretty common game. People pass this game off all the time. They passed off Guardian Legend for the longest time, and now people are finally realizing that that game is an outstanding game. And I think Legacy of the Wizard, I don't think it's ever going to have its time in the sun where people are just going to realize, oh my God, this game was great. We got to get it. But honestly, I think that this is one of those gems that I will, till my dying breath, I will defend this game as one of the finest on the Nintendo.
You don't say. I would say every
Go
opportunity.
to hell!
Every opportunity you get, you gush about this game.
This set the standard on the Nintendo.
It is honestly. Broderbund was a very good company for the NES.
They published some good games. And
more often than not.
Because they partnered themselves with great developers.
Yeah.
IRM and Falcom, they knew who their developers were.
Yeah,
they did a great job.
They did very, very well. So
and may we never speak of the U-Force.
The U-Force. We'll have to use that sometime.
That was Broderbund.
I know that was Broderbund. That's disturbing to me.
It really is. They should have stuck to their games.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. We got an 8 for difficulty, a 7 for fun. Yeah, it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
I got nothing else, man. We did do an episode of the Two Dudes and an NES podcast about this game. So go check out Two Dudes and an NES. They do a... Oh, wow, nicely done.
Check them out.
Yes, they are doing a game-by-game podcast of all of the NES games.
Yes, they are.
So
we guessed it on Legacy of the Wizard because I kicked and screamed and cried until they said, Paul and Andy, please just as long as Paul will leave us alone, we'll let you guest spot on the Legacy of the Wizard episode.
That's right.
And I was happy after that.
Yes, you were.
I stopped calling them and I stopped crying to them saying why I deserve to be on their show for Legacy of the Wizard.
Yep. We were also on an episode for Guardian Legend, my personal favorite. So give a listen to that, and we will be on another one very soon.
Yes, we will.
So that'll do it for this one.
So remember, check us out on Facebook.
Check us out on Twitter.
Check out PowerTripGaming.tv. It'll take you right to our channel. We've got a link in the description below so that you can check out our playthrough, our entire playthrough of Legacy of the Wizard. And by our playthrough, I mean my playthrough, because he sucks at the game. I love the game, and it's awesome. Watch it.
It's a long one. It's a long...
It is. It's a long game. It's a long game.
And
There's a lot of substance to it.
You can enjoy watching Paul eat 160-something poison bottles. Oh, we forgot to mention that. So you have a magic meter in this game. You also get poison and health and money. Mostly poison.
I like it the poison.
You like it the poison. Well, in a weird way, I'm
yes,
poisoning myself.
Yes.
So, yeah. So there you guys go. Next time on Power Trip Gaming Retrospective.
We will review something better.
Yes, we will.
Not bloody likely.
Not for you anymore.
Not for me. It doesn't get better than this.